Hey, this is Mark A. Altman.
And this is Darren Doctorman, and we are two-thirds of the Inglorious.
Treksperts. And this is an Inglorious Treksperts YouTube exclusive as we bring you our EXO-6 panel from Star Trek Las Vegas.
This is 1/6 of a episode of Treksperts because of the 1/6 scale figures. So that's a little.
It's a museum quality episode.
We're a museum quality episode.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I was really happy to have EXO-6 back on stage because, of course, I'm a huge collector of EXO-6. I love their figures. I just got the Gorn, which was phenomenal.
From the episode of the same name, The Collector.
The Collector. Yeah, I feel like, what was his name? Kivo's Faja Kivo.
Kivas Fajo.
Right, from the Most Toys.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that guy collecting all these toys. Although EXO-6 doesn't call them toys; they call them museum quality replicas.
Sure.
Well, I don't know about that. I actually had something very traumatic because, I leave them in the box, and then Isaac was like, my son was like, "Why haven't you put them out yet?" I'm like, "Well, I haven't got around to it." He says, "I'll do it." So he's putting out. He put out the Kruge, and he put out the Gorn, and then I don't remember the Cage Spock and all these great figures. And I'm like, how did you find room for all these? It's like feels like there's all this room. He goes, well, I took the Playmates shelf and took those to my room. I'm like, what are you talking about? I said that Kirk and Romulan was an exclusive. Those pieces of the action. No wonder there's all this room. You took all these good figures. And he's like, yeah, but you're gonna have them back maybe one day.
Figures are not suitable for children under 30.
And it's so funny because he's kit bashing phase 2 figures. He just did, yeah, so which I love because I think his version of phase 2 is probably better than the version that they would have done. So EXO-6, you got a bunch of those EXO-6 figures.
I do, but I pay for them.
Yeah, so do I. Everybody pays for them.
Well,
which is,
there's a couple people who don't, and
I know, which is really frustrating because I got to tell you, most of my collection is based on review copies, and people give me stuff for free, and these are not cheap, and given all the promotion and publicity we've given them, I'm actually kind of a little annoyed that I still have to pay for these. Not even one. It's like Sideshow used to give me all the Bond figures and everything because we used to do a lot of promotion. Anyway, I know people don't want to hear this. This is how the sausage is made. But generally, when you're a journalist or something,
they want to hear it. They like hearing the backstory.
I mean, I would have been nice. We've done a lot for them. We're big boosters, and I would like some free shit, especially the crap that I don't want to pay for.
You and me both.
Yeah, I know exactly. And Ashley doesn't care, so you only have to get the two of us. You only have to. Yeah. Meanwhile, I was thinking about that panel. And it's like we were talking about like EXO-6 figures we'd like to see, and I'm like that they haven't made, and I'm like, oh, Morn and Ruck, and I'm like, what was I thinking? Who cares? I want to see a Telosian, which I know they did a prototype on.
We want to see Alan Ruck.
We want to see Alan Harriman. Yeah, I don't want to Harriman. They're so obsessed with the captains, but I want to see more aliens. Like they're doing Kirk and Romulan garb, which is fine, but I'd like to see Romulan Commander, or the female Romulan Commander.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I know a lot of people they like the high profile marquee value stuff. I like the more esoteric stuff. I mean, I don't need Nazi Kirk and Nazi Spock. Like, it doesn't have to be that esoteric, but I mean, there's like supporting characters, and I definitely want to see more. Like, I know you're not a big Deep Space Nine fan like I am, but I would love to see more of the aliens from Deep Space Nine. Jemadar, and they're doing Jeffrey Combs, which that's exciting. But even the Founder, what?
But which one?
Yeah, I mean, what would you like next generation? I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't need a Darmok at Tanagra when the walls fell guy.
I'd actually like to see a Lieutenant Barclay.
Right, that'd be cool. He could also double for the A-team.
Right, exactly. Maybe I don't know. There's not much play action in Next Generation.
Yeah. No, it's mostly when you think about the original show, especially for the 60th. I mean, I could probably go through every episode. I mean, they're so worried about putting out the Kelvin universe. Who cares?
Yeah.
Don't need that shit.
But a
So,
6 scale Tasha Yar with a little jar of black goop.
oh, that's
That's
funny.
the set that you want.
I would like to see Armus, the skinny evil. I would buy that. That's how crazy I am. So funny. My son always says, "Are you gonna get that one?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like Valeris, he's like, "You're not gonna get that." I'm like, "Yeah, I kind of am." He's like, "What is with you?"
Well, because you
I
have
said,
to,
"If you don't know."
you have to do the bridge photo shoot session.
Yeah, exactly. Those who know. And yeah, that was great. But yeah, I mean, like, let's see. I mean, we talked about, like, I would love it, like a Matt Decker. I would love.
Absolutely.
Like, that would be awesome. I'd love old Kirk from Deadly Years. Like, that would be fun.
That'd be hilarious.
And I mean, why are we not consultants for these guys? I mean,
because we would put them out of business.
Yeah, probably, because we would pick the stuff that nobody else wants but us. That's probably a good point.
Well, something that Playmates did that no one has ever done before is Baylock and the puppet.
Oh, see, that would be great.
Yeah.
You got to do Baylock and the puppet.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. It goes all the way back to Mego when he was called the Keeper, right?
That's right. Well, the Keeper was a combination of Baylock and
Yeah. I know, but still, that would be so cool to have that. Plus, you do Gary Lockwood. I would like a little Gary Lockwood
to see a Gary
with the
Lockwood.
Silver eyes.
Yeah.
That would be cool. And Sally Kellerman as Dr. Elizabeth Daner. Plus, you could do the White Rabbit, the Magatu. You could do a Magatu. Because Playmates did a Magatu. Isaac took my Magatu. Where's my Magatu? He took it.
Yeah, he's now my Magatu.
I know. It's like, what are you doing taking my Magatu? The whole shelf gone.
That's the problem with kids liking what you like.
I know. That is the problem. Because I told you about how he took my freaking he made Lex Luthor out of my Blofeld, which, those Bond toys are impossible. Those Sideshow Bonds are impossible to get these days. And,
Sideshow Bond, Sideshow Mel.
And he can't wait for Factory to come out with those Galactica 70 figures. And it's like, they're doing 78 and 2004. I'm like, great. Yeah, wait until they do the flying motorcycles. I'll get that too. You want that too? I'll get that too. I was like, I would buy the bosses from Piece of the Action. And the book. It has to come with the book, Chicago Moms.
The first Vic Tayback action figure ever.
Yeah. Well, my favorite is when you made the Gene Roddenberry figure. From the Mego Gene Roddenberry figure. That was great.
Well, I mean, technically EXO-6 should do a Gene Roddenberry figure.
They should. They should do that.
And just call it Captain April.
I feel like we're missing, which is what the Akutas did in the Star Trek Encyclopedia.
Yes,
they put a picture of Gene as Captain April, which was very clever. But then the Akutas are clever people.
They are.
Yeah.
1/6 dolls of them.
Captain John Christopher, I wouldn't mind.
Sure.
But no, okay. But realistically,
realistic, you're not going to get that.
I'm not getting. Maybe not.
I
probably would.
You may get the Vians.
Oh, I would. The cut rate Telosians, I would totally for half the price. And then I would love. I don't know why we didn't talk about this first and foremost. When he was with the old company, the QMX, they did this killer Khan Noonien Singh from Space Seed.
Yes.
Star Trek II Khan has to be done.
Yeah.
Got to do it.
I think they've done a test of him.
Yeah.
They've displayed that somewhere. I'm sure it's coming. It's just a question of when.
And there's a sign around his neck that says, "This is my real chest."
That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, well, this was a nice conversation. David Steffen from EXO-6 sat down with us and talked about some of how they make these figures, how they decide on the different figures. And of course, big shout out to Nanjin Tam, who, if you read his Facebook, sounds psychotic, but he's actually doing the Lord's work, and we're so appreciative to everything that he's done. He really is keeping this going, and he cares. He's so passionate. And even though, we kid about why are they doing all these Strange New Worlds action figures in Kelvin Universe, it's great that there's something for everybody. And as long as, for the 60th, the TOS gets the TLC, the tender loving care, then we're all happy. And I really do want a Mr. Arix not done like an animated character, but done like the other characters, like it would have been in live action. because he could. In my world, he exists in live action.
In all our worlds, he does.
Yeah, we love the
All
Erics.
our yesterdays have Erics in them.
Yeah. But we're deeply grateful. The EXO-6 is doing great work.
We love
and
them. Great.
We love them. I'm so glad we were able to showcase them and spotlight them at the Star Trek Las Vegas. And if we are back there next year, I'd like to do it again. Who knows what they'll have planned by next year. So anyway,
time will tell.
Thanks for joining us for this exclusive YouTube Inglorious Treksperts exclusive. And so now I think let's join this panel already in progress. And
at the end, don't worry when we don't come back, because there's not more to tell.
There's not more to tell, exactly. But for more Inglorious Treksperts goodness, you can listen to the podcast every Thursday, wherever you listen to podcasts, or right here on YouTube for the video version. And we hope you'll join us, and of course on social. And don't forget that the Inglorious Treksperts live tour continues throughout the rest of the year, including St. Louis, October 10th to the 12th, Milwaukee, November 7th to the 9th, Columbus, December 5th to the 7th, and you can come sail away with Darren next February on the Star Trek cruise, February 20th to the 27th. A lot of great opportunities to hang with the Treksperts, except for me. So we'll see you next time here on Inglorious Treksperts. Thanks for joining us. Keep on trekking, ingloriously, of course. Today we put together a really great triptych of 3 great Star Trek licensees that we wanted to shine a light on because we love what they do and want to talk to them about some of the cool stuff they're doing. So we're going to start. Later on, we'll have EXO-6 out here to talk about their museum quality replicas. At 10:30, we'll be joined by Factory Entertainment, who's doing amazing props. They're also doing extraordinary Battlestar Galactica 78 and 2004, which they did not bring to the show. And I've chastised them for, but it's extraordinary. And of course, we're going to start with our good friend Tony Kim from Hero Within. So thanks for being here. It's going to be a lot of fun. And Ashley, you'll be back later for some more Treksperts goodness?
Indeed, I will.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Kim. Yeah. Or unless you just want to stand out there and model this lovely jacket.
I'll sit.
So, you have been doing some really great stuff. I mean, this is your latest from Star Trek II, and it's kind of badass, especially for a licensed Star Trek apparel. It's really cool.
Well, thank you.
How do you decide on what you're going to produce?
Well, it really is an ebb and flow process. Fortunately, one of the main reasons we come to these shows, like other conventions. We just came off of a big convention last week as well.
You're allowed to mention San Diego
okay.
Comic-Con. It's like, we don't mention other conventions here.
That's right. But the main reason why we're here is so we can interact with fans, because the fans really help us dictate what the demand is, what they're excited for, what they're looking for. So it's really invaluable to be at places like this, because it helps shape what are we coming out with for the next 6 months or next year.
And what was sort of the impetus for you? I mean, this is not an easy business. First of all, the apparel business, the schmata business, as we called it when I grew up in New York, was not, it's not an easy business. But the Star Trek license business, is littered with the tomb of the unknown, licensee. So I'm just wondering, what was sort of the impetus for you getting involved with this?
I have been a lifelong Star Trek fan. When I was a little boy, when my friends were running around with lightsabers and blasters, I had a phaser and a communicator, And so when going to cons like this, growing up and through college years and as a young adult, going to Comic-Con and everything else, I really found that really frustrated with the kind of the vacuum of fashion options in the space. I mean, for the longest time, up to about 10 years ago when we started, it was just like black t-shirts and hoodies, for everything, and big graphic. And I remember one day my wife was like, I have a stack of t-shirts up to here, and she just like, enough with the t-shirts, So
Is that directed at me? Please stop.
So, I was like, hey, I would love to see an option out there where not only do we have something that is creative and unique, but something that, as fans, we're proud to represent our fandom, you know? So we launched back in 2016 or so, and we've been able to work with great brands like Marvel and DC and Doctor Who and Godzilla, and we've been in our Star Trek phase at this time, and it's been a real honor to be able to create clothing that is not just everyday streetwear, but then also some things that are a little bit more cosplay, costumey, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's been great.
Do you do market research, or are you the market research because you're a fan? And that's something that all three of these panels have in common. We didn't bring out anybody who's like, I'm cashing in on Star Trek. I hear it's a big franchise. These people are all huge fans, and that's what prompted them to get the license. And I love that about you, Tony. So I'm just wondering, you know, is it something where you do market research and say, this would be cool? Is that your idea of market research?
Yeah, you know, it's a combination of things, but it truly is a labor of love, like you're saying. You know, I think you have to be passionate about this brand. You have to know it, you have to love it, you have to have a lot of relationships within the community, or else, as we've all seen, the cheap knockoffs, we've all seen like people just sort of slapping a name or a logo on something and then just kicking it out. And it frustrates me as a fan to see substandard and just like low quality merch out there. So we do a lot of, we send a lot of emails out, we talk to a lot of fans, we look at the data, and we want to make sure that we do believe that this brand can be something that is, of course, global and something that can really reach a worldwide audience. We wouldn't be doing it if we didn't believe that. Now, it's going to be hard work. It's going to take a lot of effort. It's going to take a lot of support of our fans. But we do want to make something that really grows into something that we're all proud of, not just us as a company, but all of us as fans.
Yeah. I know it's hard to pick your favorite child unless you're Ashley, but do you have, like, from the line, is there something that really you love that's your favorite of the things you've produced?
Yeah, oh man, that's tough because they each have their own sort of story to it. Two of them come to mind just within this past year. About a year or 18 months ago, I did a rewatch of Star Trek Enterprise, and it was one of those things that I watched it when it first came out, but I barely remember anything from it. Like, I just felt like I just hardly could remember any of the details from it. So when I rewatched it, and even at that time, I couldn't appreciate it just because there was so much Trek out at that time, And so when I did the rewatch just recently, I was just like astonished. I was like, this is so great, so fantastic. So much so that I really wanted to make a jacket that we sort of reverse engineered from the jumpsuits, right? But I thought to myself, hey, it's going to be like kind of a niche thing, kind of serving a kind of a specific sort of tribe within the Star Trek community. But, I love it. I'm passionate about it, so we're just going to make it anyway. Even though there was no market research to support it, there was really no one asking or demanding for it at all. But I'm just like, hey, guys, we're just going to make this. I don't care, if it's just for me and my friends, whatever. We made it, and it's been a huge hit. Like, for the past 18 months, it's probably been consistently on our website, and that shows our top three of our the items that we're selling. People just love this sort of, not just the design of it, but just they're re-embracing that show. They're really appreciating it for what it really is, and so it's been really awesome to just see people love that. And then this jacket, we're debuting this jacket here at the show. It's our Wrath of Khan field jacket. And, to me, Star Trek II is I have a very short list of perfect movies out there, and Star Trek is at the top of it. And in fact, it was the first movie that I ever cried in, like wept in as a viewer. And so I have a very emotional connection to that movie as well as these jackets. And so, it's been a labor of love because if anyone is any familiarity with Star Trek, and specifically the Monster Maroon and the field jackets, they're just very difficult to make. It's very hard, and to make it at a price point that fans can afford. This jacket is a pre-order for $199, and to be able to get it at that price point that is accessible to all fans, it takes a lot of research development, a lot of hard work, and so I'm proud of it. The response at the show has been very, very strong.
You bought one?
No. I got a competitor's sweater.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Pop Galaxy, they make a fantastic sweater.
Which are a lot of fun. But I want one of these. When are you planning on shipping?
So we are taking orders currently, and then and we are going into production. I mean, next week. We're sending it off for production in next week. It'll take about 8 weeks, give or take a tariff or two.
Right.
That's always, that's a whole nother story. But
And how much do you want for the one that you're wearing right now?
we're taking bids. Nice bidder. Let's do it. Yeah. So about 8 weeks or so is the goal.
Cool.
Well, Tony, thank you so much for stopping by. If you want to see their incredible line of Star Trek apparel, check out Hero Within. It's on the vendor room floor. I'm not going to give you the booth number because if you can't find it, there's something wrong. Because
When you walk in, it's just make a hard right. We're right there. So.
Yeah, it's not San Diego. It's like you can find them. So anyway, thrilled to see you, all your success. I've known Tony for a long time, and we wish you much continued success. Keep making cool stuff like this.
Right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
And now, speaking of cool stuff, and I can attest to this because if I showed you my living room, you know that I really am fans of this next company. I just got the Gorn, and it's freaking fantastic.
He got the Gorn, I did not.
I know it was a lottery, and I got one, and he didn't.
Yeah, that's okay.
It worked out okay. So anyway, I want to welcome to the stage, it's David Steffens from EXO-6. David, come on out. No music for you. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, never mind.
Gorn music.
Yeah, so, there you go. Welcome. David works with Nanjin Tam at EXO-6. You guys, I've said this before, are doing the Lord's work. There've been a lot of action. Well, action figures isn't doing it justice. I know you
Collectible figures.
as museum quality replicas, which goes on the shelf. Unfortunately, my son keeps using them. And,
How old's your son?
15, but he loves them, and in fact, he has a lot of requests, as do I. But I know you've had such success, and unfortunately, this whole tariff situation has been just a disaster for so many companies that manufacture overseas. But it seems like you found a way through, thankfully, and there's a lot of great stuff coming. Can you talk about sort of the origin of EXO-6 and the incredible response that fans have had to what you've been doing?
Sure. I mean, Nanjin and I started out with QMX, if you may have seen their figures. And, but QMX wasn't happy with how the 1/6 marketing worked and how the sales worked. So it was very slow in getting figures out. So once we left there, when the start of COVID, a lot of things happened. And we got the license ourselves and decided to go ahead and start manufacturing the 1/6 figures and doing it a little differently because we started prototyping as many figures as we possibly could, and we have a factory ourselves in China that we operate, and that allows us to control things and maybe do things a little differently than other collectible companies.
Yeah, and I think what's great too, and we talked about this with Tony, being a fan gives you an advantage because a lot of these big companies in the past that have put out, they're sort of guessing or they're doing market research or Paramount Licensing is telling them what they think they should put out. But you guys have an instinctual understanding of what the fans want. I mean, I can't imagine anyone else sort of doing Kirk, Spock, and McCoy from Star Trek: The Motion Picture. I mean, that was phenomenal. I mean, the Gorn is phenomenal. Your Mirror Universe figures. I mean, it's just, and it just all kinds of great stuff. Now you just to do incredible figures from the Cage, the Spock, and of course you're going to be doing Pike. And I know I pre-ordered something else.
The Spock is unmatched. It's an unbelievable replica at 1/6 scale.
The Cage Spock, you like?
The Cage Spock, amazing.
And you just announced a pre-order for Garrick, which is phenomenal. I mean, I'm so excited. Obviously the aliens are much harder sculpts to do, and I wonder, if you can talk about that because everyone has their thoughts about what they'd like to see. And I'd really like to see Morn. It's like easier said than done, right?
Well, actually, the aliens are easier to do because you're not that concerned about the likeness.
Right.
And you're not having an actor look at it and say, well, that's not me, even when it looks exactly like them. So, aliens is figuring it out and figuring out, like, for Garrick, who's such a subtle, deceiving character, what expression to do for him, something like that. But I enjoy doing the aliens a little bit more than the others. And we like to go deep on things. Like, people probably never would have thought we would go that deep on Deep Space Nine. And there's still main characters that we haven't done, which we're going to do, you know. We just have to get them exactly right.
Right.
And you've been very show agnostic. You know, in the past, I think that a lot of the licensees have really focused on the more popular shows, you know, TOS, TNG, TOS, TNG, Voyager. And you guys have really spread the wealth around, so Strange New Worlds fans can get their figures. You know, obviously Deep Space Nine is a show we're passionate about, but hasn't always been that successful as a license. But you've done some amazing work on Deep Space Nine, and that, you know, you're trying to service every aspect of the fandom with what you do, and it's really a very diverse, you know, array of product. Is that intentional?
Oh, that's very intentional. And actually, Deep Space Nine has done fairly well for us.
Oh, that's great.
Which we weren't sure that was going to happen. But we know that TOS and like Wrath of Khan are some of the more popular, you know, characters to do, and we will be doing those coming up. But I mean, we wanted to make sure we can do them right. So we wanted to practice on a lot of other, you know, characters before.
So you're using Deep Space Nine as an experiment.
Yeah, something like that.
I think, you know, really the likenesses of these characters are unparalleled. And of course, some of them are so difficult to capture. I know Nanjin, certainly on the social channels, talked a lot about how difficult it is to capture, you know, Shatner's, because Shatner, there's so much nuance to that and to his various looks, and how much, you know, sort of experimentation it takes to get to the perfect likeness.
Yeah, I mean, Shatner is, for some reason, one of those likenesses that is incredibly difficult to capture, like Harrison Ford, really. And there's certain guys out there that, you know, usually guys are easier than women to capture perfectly, but Shatner is very difficult. But we're going to have a lot to choose from for Captain Kirk, from a lot of different iterations and generations. So that's not a hint.
You know, how hard is it for you? Because obviously you have to sell a certain amount of units to make something worthwhile, to do deeper dives. Like, you know, I certainly have my wish list of, like, I would love to see a ruck from, you know, what a little girl's made of, right? But that's a very esoteric kind of thing.
Not that esoteric.
Oh, really? And, you know, like, what would be an example of something that you would like to see that you think is...
Well, honestly, I would like to see a Horta.
That would be easy. Yeah.
I mean,
Put
compared
some
to
microwave pizza in the oven,
exactly,
boom, you got a Horta.
Exactly. But, you know, throughout the years, companies have tried to, you know, Playmates famously did a deep dive into the lesser-known characters in their smaller version. I'd love to see a beautiful Telosian, you know, from the cage, and those are really difficult to get correct.
Yeah.
And but you know, I just enjoy everything that you guys release and tease on. So I'll be happy whatever you.
Well, I think we saw when we solicited Pike from the cage, the little Telosian in the foreground there. So that's not out of the question. And I think we showed last year at this show the Pike in wheelchair.
Right.
Just
from
going to
the
ask you
menagerie.
about that.
Yeah.
You know, when we see prototypes at a show like this, like Pike in a wheelchair, I know some of it is just experimentation. Can we expect to see them as a product line at some point?
Yeah, I mean, for that one, we wanted to get it so that you could ask him a yes or no question,
Right.
and he would respond.
Yeah, like a magic 8-ball.
Exactly.
The future is not hazy for Captain Pike.
and that was a little more difficult for us, but we think we figured it out. So he should be up pretty soon, actually.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, don't come out too quickly. I mean, they're not cheap.
You know, you'd think that Captain Pike could make it do Morse code. You know?
Well,
I know you had something exciting you wanted to share with the audience for the first time. You're going to unveil a new figure kit. Is that something you want to do, or you have a few things you want to share with us first?
yeah, actually, I was supposed to unveil the new figure, but the gods of UPS didn't shine upon us, so it didn't get here. But I do have some things to show on slides
Great, let's take a look.
that we can look at for coming up,
Fantastic.
or not.
Okay, so we're going to look at the first slide. This is David's EXO-6. So a sneak peek behind the scenes.
So this is
we
just a
go.
little bit of the history. That's the first year we were in business. Oh, the other way, okay. And then we released more the next year.
Yeah, I mean, look at the. Oh, wait, stop for a second. Look at this. This is just stunning. You have a mirror Spock. You got a mirror Sulu. And I have to say, the mirror Sulu is a chef's kiss. It's so perfect. I can't really see. Is that Tuvok there? The Cisco
yeah.
was phenomenal, and your reissued Cisco as sort of an earlier iteration. You know, the pre badass sort of Hawk version of Cisco. You know, the fact that you're putting out a Shatner in Star Trek: The Motion Picture was just a gift.
Yeah.
So many great things, and of course, I think the Q as Judge Q is still available on the website if people are interested in getting that.
Yeah, back in the day, we didn't manufacture just to our pre-orders. We just did a set number that we thought would work, and that number didn't always work. So there's a couple of Qs still lying around. Not that many, actually, still. But yeah, so now if you got to get in on the early solicit or it's going to be gone because we only manufacture to our pre-order.
Yeah, maybe for those of you who aren't familiar with them, what they do is then they send out for pre-order, and you pre-order, and that's where they're able to set their production run. And then, depending on, it could be a few months or maybe up to a year, then the figure eventually comes, and that's when you pay the balance for the figure. But, a lot of them go through multiple iterations. Generally, the prototype is not even close to the quality of the final version, which is always, I've never been disappointed with anything you've done.
Yeah, that's not the intention, but we keep refining even after we put it up for sale. And so, yeah, very frequently the final figure is much higher quality than what you saw when you ordered it. Just take our word for it, it'll be good.
And more importantly, my son has never been disappointed with anything you've done.
Yeah, good. So, yeah, we released even more than the next year. And as you said, we have quite an eclectic selection usually. We don't try and people have told us, well, why don't you just finish a crew, before you move on to the next one? And that's just not really how marketing and sales work.
No, and I think it's, again, I mean, there are people probably like Rob Burnett who are buying every figure you put out, but for the, those of us who have, sort of more niche interests, I think it's great that you spread the wealth. Because there are people who, who want to own every, member of the Voyager crew, and that's great, but at the same time, there may be people who want Deep Space Nine, who want another show,
Right.
And so I think it's great, but I think if you just concentrated on one show, it may exclude a bunch of people who maybe aren't interested in collecting from that show.
Exactly.
I mean, look at the wealth and diversity of this. You have Voyager characters, you have Enterprise characters, you have Deep Space Nine, and that Quark is just, oh my God, fantastic. And even the chair from First Contact, so
Yeah.
just phenomenal.
Yeah. And so 24, we got into the new stuff with Strange New Worlds and Picard.
Don't forget that Saavik, that magnificent Saavik.
It's
which
amazing.
Oh, it's so great, the Kirstie Alley Saavik.
Yeah,
and the Kruge on the other end was amazing also, which you did not buy, but I did.
I didn't buy.
Oh, no.
You've had enough of him.
I have.
Yeah, Saavik, we did her first, which seems like a strange choice from Wrath of Khan, because we wanted to test it. We didn't think she was going to sell that well, and we wanted to make sure we could do the jacket, we could do the uniform right. But actually, she did pretty well. So, I mean, we're getting ready to...
A lot of Cheers
bring the
fans
others
out there wanted it.
Yeah. Okay.
No, the Saavik is phenomenal.
Yeah, no.
It's great. I thought that was a great... also, because here's the thing. I know a lot of people, they want their main captain. They really love the captains. The captains have come out so many times in so many different iterations. When you do something like, at least speaking for myself, like Kirstie Alley Saavik, which hasn't really ever been done before, like that to me is more exciting. Like Kruge had never been done before. A lot of the Deep Space Nine stuff had never been done before. Mm-hmm. Yes, the stuff 15 years ago from, what was it, Hasbro? Or
Playmates.
Yeah.
Obviously doesn't hold a candle to what you do, but they exist. Whereas when you do something that's never been done before, like Ensign Rowe, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. So 25, we started slow. These have already shipped. Oh, you're laughing at the lower decks? Is that what you're laughing at? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was so clever.
Yeah, that was an experiment that may not have paid off, but we loved them. So.
And again, you want to service all the areas of fandom.
Yeah.
That's what's so great. No one is excluded. Whether it's lower decks, and I think Prodigy really is the only series you haven't done yet.
Well, we did show a Janeway last year in that same scale as the
that's
lower
right.
deck ones. and that will probably come out because Janeway is always popular. That's one of our most requested figures to reissue.
Yeah, and you're reissuing some figures now. For
Yeah,
the
now
first time.
the TNG, we're getting back into that. We had a little hiccup when the first tariffs came out, and we lost a bunch of Picards.
Right.
So we had to remanufacture anyway. So we figured, well, why not reissue them since there's a lot of people that still wanted Picard. And if you have a Picard, you have to have a Data to go with them and a Geordi. So we're doing all those again. But again, we're going to put them up for order. However many orders we get, that's how many we're going to make.
Look, and that's great because you're not promising these limited editions. Never was promised.
They are.
So it's better that you can offer these. People want them. I know I missed out on Cisco, and I really wish I hadn't, and now I have a chance at Cisco again.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. So what else you got to show us?
The 2025, this is what we've solicited so far, and we're just getting started. There's still a ton more. In July, we've dropped a pre-order every week. So that's...
I mean, you did a Valaris. Whoever thought there'd be a Valaris, I say action figure. I know I'm not using the correct vernacular, but a Valaris museum quality replica. I mean, that's just crazy. So awesome.
Yeah, we wanted we wanted to do Chang, and we wanted to do Sulu and the Monster Maroon as a captain, and it just made sense to do Valaris to go with them, so.
Yeah, and the Chang sculpt, even in the prototype, seems perfect. And, I can't wait for Garrick. And, speaking for those of us who got the Gorn, it's incredible. Just incredible.
Yes, we all
It's got
know
Jeff
it's
Bond.
incredible.
I don't know, you know Jeff Bond, who's a big collector. He is, he took his Gorn out to Vasquez Rocks and did a whole photo shoot with him. It was like a Maxim photo shoot for geeks.
Yeah, the Gorn is a lot of fun. It'll be more fun when you have a Kirk to pose with them, too, though.
That's right.
That's true. Okay.
So, what are we going to do?
Ooh, now we're getting to the good stuff.
It's the Riddler, isn't it?
Well, it's and beyond. So the next year is the 10th anniversary of Star Trek Beyond.
Wow.
And so we're going to delve into that a little bit
Crazy.
with these characters. Because there's actually a huge market.
Now you can make Star Trek 4 on your own, which is the only way you'll get to see another movie in the Kelvin universe. So you're doing a service for everybody.
Exactly. You could take the figures and do an AI or an animated stop motion version of your own Star Trek 4. But there we go. So that's just a little close-up of our Kirk. And then this is something else we're working on for 2006.
Little something you're cooking up?
20,000.
The Wrath of Khan.
2002. Whatever. Yeah, Wrath of Khan. We've showed at our very first show in Chicago when it was a Paramount convention there, we showed some of the Wrath of Khan stuff. Mm-hmm. They've gone through so many refining now. So that's what we've been trying to do and why we've delayed so long in getting them out there is just to make them perfect. So you're seeing a little silhouette of Dr. McCoy, which will probably be the next Wrath of Khan figure.
Take her out, Mr. Savick.
With his away jacket. And there's something special. Can we roll the video?
Oh, there's video.
So, something to go with our Wrath of Khan figures.
Oh, look at that.
So we're going to do the Genesis.
So you've got Genesis.
We have Genesis.
It's on a build-up to detonation. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, so.
Cool.
Those are just showing the parts because it's still in early prototyping, but we're still
You
refining
include protomatter?
Include what?
Protomatter.
Protomatter, sure.
Uh-oh.
Don't.
So, of course, the big announcement,
Right.
Next year is the 60th anniversary of Star Trek, the original series.
So we've heard.
Have you?
Yeah.
It's all the rage right now. But we're finally going to get really deep into the original series, and people have been asking us, well, why the hell haven't you done these yet? So we're going to be doing that. There's a look of our Kirk, one of the Kirks, one of the many, many Kirks. That you'll
Never
be
have
seeing.
enough Kirks.
You can never have enough Kirks, so.
That looks
Yeah,
amazing.
you're gonna give you a lot of Kirk. But that's just one of the sculpts. We're gonna do a different sculpt for pretty much each one.
Are you doing a Janet Lester also? Oh, Nichelle, look at that. Wow.
Yeah, she'll come with 2 different hair sculpts.
Awesome.
So you can change out her hair for different looks. And we just want to show a little bit about the costumes that we're working on.
Fantastic.
So as you notice a little bit of Chapel there. So
Wow.
That's a great major likeness. Are you going to then turn it into a Loax
Number 1?
Troy for the next generation line?
that's interesting. We may.
Or a number 1 from the cage.
Or yes,
We have got to
that's
complete our
probably
cage
more
set.
likely.
Yeah, that'd be
actually.
great. Yeah. Are
Some
you
other,
doing Nomad?
yeah, some other
Wow.
we like to do things that can go with your figures, like the Genesis and like Nomad. And we've done the chairs already, of course. And here's showing some of the TNG Bridge things.
Nice.
The consoles will be up pretty soon for sale.
Great.
For pre-order. And you can see the transporter console too, which is something we're going to do.
Neat.
We showed that last year at this show. Here's a bunch of the chairs that we're going to come out with. The 2 chairs are out already, but the movie chairs are coming too. Both TMP and Wrath of Khan.
Sweet.
Nice.
Different versions. Is that it? No.
And I want to point out that following our EXO-6 discussion, we'll be bringing in our friends from Factory Entertainment. That panel will go straight up to 11 o'clock. We will not have a 10-minute intermission between panels. So Factory Entertainment will be joining us shortly, and that will be from until 11 o'clock. So stay tuned. But now the exciting conclusion of EXO-6.
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much, we're going to be deep into TOS and Wrath of Khan in 2026. So
Tosk. You should do a Tosk figure from Captive Pursuit on Deep Space Nine. I'm just going to throw out really obscure action figures. So.
Okay. Well, Hoarder was pretty, it's not obscure,
Hoarder,
but I
no,
mean,
Hoarder was pretty.
it's not something
yeah.
you would probably think of as an action figure.
Right.
But yeah, no, we're open to suggestions. I mean, we have a lot of ideas, but, because we're fans, but we're interested in what the fans want as well.
Very cool.
So, go on the forums and Facebook or whatever and let us know.
Now I know you can't debut. You can't show the figure you wanted to debut because it did not arrive.
Right.
Thank you, FedEx. But
UPS.
can you reveal what it is?
It was 7 from Picard.
7
Nice.
from Picard. That's
Yeah.
great. Captain 7.
Captain or Commander 7.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Okay, well that's exciting.
Yeah, and then we were pretty happy with her, but she didn't arrive.
And is there any other pre-orders that people should be on the lookout for over the next few weeks?
There's a lot of stuff coming. The consoles will probably be next from TNG, the bridge consoles. And then we just got a lot of stuff. As soon as it's ready, we'll throw it up there. But we want to get as much out as possible, before the end of the year.
Well, I know you're not on the exhibit floor this year because of the unfortunate situation regarding the current political climate, but I do want to say if people want to know more, they can go to EXO-6.com.
Yeah, EXO-6.com, or follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to our newsletter on EXO-6.com.
And I say this with love. If you want to know what the founder of the company, Nanjin Tam, is thinking at any time of the day about any subject in the world, follow them on Facebook, and he'll let you know. So
That's very true.
But you guys are just doing extraordinary work. Big thanks to Nanjin, and big thanks to you, David. Keep doing this amazing work at EXO-6. We're so happy you guys are doing well. Seems like you cracked the code of Star Trek licensing. So many companies haven't, and just you do it with love, and we're so glad to be able to fill our display cases with this ever-growing.
My display cases are already full.
I know.
I got to switch them out now, and it's really frustrating.
I know.
Rotate each one.
I know.
Yeah, but then they end up in my son's room. It's like I gotta put a lock on my display case. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing all this with us. It was a great
Thank you.
delight having you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.